Alright, having refreshed my memory on the rules, I'm probably all set up to try to do a bit of a little playthrough on this. Yeah, in retrospect, some element of character creation might be a little nice, just so I have some attachment to my dung beetle, maybe even a name. For now, I'm going to call him Bill the Dung Beetle. So I believe starting out, you just roll a d4. And I'm going to be using the simpler version, so I'll automatically succeed the d4 and d6, but I will roll anyway. Okay, a 3, that's kind of a middling roll for this. My result would then be 3, which is definitely under 6, you know. Actually, my result would be 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I actually did fairly good on my attempt to roll. It doesn't really matter because I would have succeeded regardless, but I can let that inform my journaling if I want. I just remember that I sort of described this as a roll under system when I was talking about my when I was doing my critique of the system. It's sort of not, even though you're ultimately trying to get under a number, because the higher you roll, the lower your results, which is very, far from what you would typically expect. I don't know if it's technically a roll under system then. Uh, what animal do I work for? I actually thought about this prompt a little earlier, since I can't think of other animals that would want dung like this. Really, I'm gonna say that I actually work for a dung beetle. There are definitely other animals that would want dung. I'm sure a lot of them use it for various things, especially insects. I'm just saying it makes the most sense to me in terms of this sort of, uh, the sort of minor critiques of the way work works that appear to be present in the system. Like the little dung beetle just trying to make a living rolling balls of crap up a hill and stuff like you're joining the dung and dirt movers and logistics union. This is sort of a, you know, parody of the way work works in our world. And in light of that, I think the answer that makes the most sense is a sort of rich dung beetle that no longer even rolls his own poop and simply has other dung beetles do that for him. We'll call him William. I might have named my character Bill. I honestly do not remember, but we'll say it's Bill and William. And Bill does not like William or working for him very much because he's so stuck up and has other dung beetles roll the dung for him and has more dung than any beetle could possibly need, but he just keeps hoarding it. Right, so my next roll, I kind of feel like skipping it and just going to the prompt because that's what I know I have to do anyway, but I may as well roll. Well, that was wrong. I had 6. So I got a 0. Honestly, it feels like getting a 0 should be special, that there should be some kind of critical result for that. 6 minus 6, that's 0. There's so few systems you can get 0 in, like without weird modifiers, that I feel like a 0 should be something special, but it is not, so I will simply answer the prompt more or less as normal. What do I dream of one day achieving? Or my beetle? Bill dreams of one day not having to work for William anymore because he hates it and it sucks. And he would rather be rolling dung for himself. As to why he needs money and can't just simply roll the dung he needs for himself and then do whatever he likes, I don't know, but he needs money for something. I'll just make something up, I guess. Food. Why not keep it simple? I'm sort of a little tired, so he just needs money for food. It's getting scarce out there. He lives in a dung beetle city, so there are a bunch of different dung beetles and not a lot of things to forage going around. Do Do they just eat dung? I really don't know. That would sort of make this fall apart, but... Alright, and now this one I may actually fail. So let's try for that D8. Yeah, it kind of would be nice to have this written out, because then I could sort of refer back to my story as it is ongoing, but I'm trying to avoid writing right now. So 8 minus 8, another 0, but doesn't super matter. Do I ever wonder where the poop comes from? Honestly, I'm just going to say no. Bill does not care, even slightly. So that sort of renders the second part of that prompt irrelevant, but Bill just does not care. You know, he's a working man. Got to get that job done. As to where the poop comes from, who cares, really, you know? Also, I don't know why he wouldn't know. Would he never see that? Are they too big for him to look at it? This prompt is a little confusing to me, but he doesn't care. So, you know, he works for Will, the rich dung beetle. He dreams of no longer having to work for him, and he really does not care about anything other than getting out of that work. You know, Bill leads a very, I don't know, a sad life, but at work he leads a sad life. I'm sure he's happy outside of it, but there's no redeeming qualities about the dung rat race for him. Okay, so 10 minus 6 is 4, and that is still under 6, so I'm still sitting pretty. All right, does he think about the insects in his life? Do you have friends or family? Who are they? I'm going to say Bill has a family, and that's part of why he's working for him, you know. What he needs money to feed his family. I'm going to say his wife also has a job. Dung beetle wife named Mary. And she also has a job. I suppose saying what her job would still be part of this would still be part of this prompt in terms of who she is. I feel like she should have a different job. But there's really not a lot of things to go off of to make stuff up here. Like a lot of journaling games, you're directly responding to something that happens. But I just sort of gotta, you know, make up details about my character off of nothing. You know, I wouldn't really need a game to do that if it's not, like, the prompts are just asking me questions I would normally ask during character creation so far. They're not determining anything about my character or what's happening to him in and of themselves. But anyway, let's see. So he has a wife who has a job. I guess dung beetles have marriage. And we'll say they have an open relationship. Why not? But that's completely irrelevant. I'm just stalling instead of thinking of his wife's job. Now, I kept thinking nurse or doctor, no idea why, and I was questioning, like, do I want to say the dung beetles have that? But why not? She's a dung beetle nurse and or doctor. We'll say nurse, because I'm guessing that would help it make sense why Bill also needs to work so hard, because doctors can have quite good income. Nurses probably can too, depending on where they work, but I really know nothing about the medical field. Alright, next one. On to the D12. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, 5. Now it seems I've encountered my first setback. Yeah, that's a 7. That's over 6. So, I think I don't answer a prompt if I fail. Let me double check that, which that's a huge missed opportunity. You gotta have prompts for failure. Like, I mean, in the whole attempt system, these are all sort of prompts for failure, because I failed once. So maybe you don't need that much. It's just counterintuitive, like the rolling high to roll under system. Alright. Yeah, just double checking that. If the result is higher than 6, it rolls down the hill, disintegrating on its way. I will not say anything about that because I am not prompted to. I mean, I obviously could fill in details, but I want to play it relatively straight to sort of test the system as it stands instead of adding too much. Yeah, and just roll a d4 and resolve the next prompt. Hopefully, yeah, so that sort of deals with his feelings about the event, so that's something. Okay, 1, which is, about as close to a failure as you could get on the d4, so he's clearly not having it right now. And Bill knew this was going to happen. This is providing actual details now and telling my character how to feel, which in a journaling game is helpful. At least as far as I know, I've never actually played one till this. Others call it stupid superstition, but you knew from the start that today was going to be a bad day. What tipped me off? I will say that, yeah, I have kids, but I didn't mention them in the last prompt. Bill has kids. That Bill's wife had a really late night last night at work. And so, the whole her coming in sort of woke him up. He, talked to her some because she was having a bad day, so that interfered with his whole sleep, and he was just, even more grumpy than normal today from all of that. He had trouble getting the kids to school. It's been a mess so far, but it was nice to see them, so, things could be worse. Right, and now I know I'm going to succeed, but I roll anyway. 6 roll, that is a 1. 6 minus 1 down to 5, so once again, very close to a failure. It's just impossible to fail for this segment. I can't, Bill can't help but wonder, does this happen to others too? He just looks to his left and see another of the many dung rollers falling down as his ball disintegrates, so he can just be like, yeah, clearly happens to other people, Not the only guy out there doing this. Okay, on to the D8. I don't know if that prompt would always be, a very simple answer, but for my scenario where there are a lot of different dung beetles rolling for William, he can actively see other people failing, so. Alright, 7. This is another failure, so we go straight back to the third attempt. Oh, wait. Yeah, I rolled a 1. That gives me a 7. So on to the third attempt. And I will roll before answering the prompt. Even though I know it will be a success. Yep, that's a 3. So that would actually be, he's got a little energy back. He's going a bit harder. Dung darn it, which I guess is sort of a portmanteau or something of dang nabbit. You twisted one of your 6 legs. Oh no. You should have it checked out before it gets worse. Well, maybe my wife can help with that. I don't want to bring her work into our home life, but I really don't want to have to pay to see a doctor right now. But you can't. Why not? I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be working right now, but why don't I go see Dr. Snail? Because I'm seeing my wife later, and also apparently I can't? Are you saying, is that a rhetorical question, or are you telling me to come up with a reason that I cannot see Dr. Snail? Well, my reason is that I can't really see my wife right now because we're both at work, but I want her to get a look at it first because I don't want to have to pay Dr. Snail if I can, just rest from... I don't want to go to a doctor just to have them to tell me to rest. If that's what they're going to do, I can ask my wife about it, who is named Mary, I should remember. And we get a 1, so 6 minus 1 is a 5, another close to failure for what it's worth. As for what, you pull yourself together and push on with a slight limp. You curse this job. What do you mumble to yourself? If I ever get my hands on that William, I'm going to strangle him. Very dark, but he hates William. Okay, the D8. William is the source of all my pain, whether that is rational or not. I've decided it. Alright. We're down to 0, so that would be another critical success in theory. It's just so darn hard. What would make your job easier? If William were here doing his own dirty work instead of me, that would make things easier. But, if my leg wasn't twisted, then that's the first thing that comes to mind. Maybe if I had a sort of drone robotic dung beetle that I was just using the controls for, automation sucks, but as long as I'm the one with the job controlling the automated thing, it's better for me. As long as other dung beetles are the people losing their jobs, I'm cool with that. Okay, so I did D8 onto D10. 2, so 10 minus 2 is an 8, in which case I have failed again, and I roll all the way down. And I've had it. I'm joining the DDMLU, the Dung and Dirt Movers and Logistic Union. I'm on strike. Yeah. There are a bunch of other workers, so hopefully other people are on strike, or this is going to fall flat on its face. But my demands are that I get to use some of the dung that I roll up this hill. Now, it looks like William's not even really using it for anything. I want to have access to my dung, and, William can have it when I'm done with it. At least one of the balls I roll up. Come on, we can be a little communal about this. That's my main demand, for one thing. Other things, better pay. I want a better pay and better hours. Pretty simple, really. I want this job to suck less. But as long as I get paid more, I don't really care that much, Like, I'm not being paid on whether I actually get these balls up the hill, except for the raise I would get if I got 3 up, so I don't really care that the work kind of sucks. I just want to get paid for it more. And I want to make sure these dung balls are actually going to be used by someone. In this case, me. Alright. So, having played the game, I don't think my feelings on it have changed too much. It was fun. But even if I had actually had this all written out to look at it after I answered it, I feel like I wouldn't really feel like there was a real narrative to it. Like, there was some parts that more liked it, but it was honestly mostly just talking about the world and the character, and that was mostly me coming up with stuff without the prompts really deciding things for me or giving me different options. But, it was fun enough for a quick project that, is not someone's main project and is just something you can go through casually by yourself that has a fun and cute concept. I'd say it's good. It could be better, I feel like, but doesn't necessarily need to be. Like, if this has all been enjoyable to you, I definitely recommend checking it out. And if, the flaws in this that I have proposed bother you, you could check out Sisyphus and see if that has some of them remedied.